Mike, how's things, my man? It's an honor to catch up again as always. We've had some great interviews over the years. So how's things on your side of the world, my man?
Things are great right now. I'm in Las Vegas, getting married tomorrow, spending a week here. It's busy, but I like being busy, so things are great.
Definitely. And speaking of busy, Mike, it's been a crazy, crazy start to the year for you. We were lucky enough to see you make that Impact debut. You're non-stop. You know, we know you're from the Irish indie scene, European indie scene, but obviously the fans at Impact were delighted to see you make that debut this year. So what's it like being, working with Impact and making such a big impact at that?
It's a dream. It's been a dream. It's been completely overwhelming, everything since the start of the year. I mean, I spent 5 years traveling the world, wrestling wherever I could, trying to get ready for this moment when I would join a company like Impact. And I like to think that I've delivered in putting on the kind of match quality that is consistent in Impact Wrestling and really symbolic of the X division.
Definitely. And Mike, would you watch the feedback? Would you go on Twitter? Would you have a little glaze at what's being said? Because look, every match is a 5-star match. There's never a bad match when Mike Speedball Bailey is involved. And I knew that before Impact. So like, do you ever gaze at all the interest, all the interactions from the fans praising your performances?
Yes, of course I do. And I make sure that as much as I can to thank everyone who says something nice on Twitter, because it's always super appreciated. I think one way that Impact has really set themselves apart in the professional wrestling world right now is through what they do on media and how they become accessible for the audience and easy to interact with, especially through the things like the Impact Plus app and all they've been doing on YouTube, putting out so much content for free, and the Ultimate Insiders. So I want to make sure that I mirror that and become as interactive as possible, and know that everyone who supports me and is willing to put that out on the internet, I want to make sure that they know that that means something, and it absolutely does. That's how the world works these days. That's the most important thing. So it's always immensely appreciated.
Epic. Now, Mike, back in 2001, okay, we had a great interview, but there was a lot of companies after that signature. You know what I mean? The biggest property on the indie scene. Impact came in, obviously, and that was, in my opinion, the best move possible, because look, we know how great Impact is. But how happy were you to sign that contract with Impact? How happy were you to get involved with Impact?
Well, so the match that led to me directly signing that contract with Impact was with Josh Alexander. I signed the contract directly on his back after Scott D'Amore had said that if I won the match with Josh at Destiny that night, I would officially get a contract with Impact Wrestling. I did not win, but he offered the contract anyways. But I think Josh Alexander is an inspiration to all of Canadian wrestling and to everyone in Impact. And he's a fantastic champion because he really embodies what it's like to be an Impact Pro wrestler. Josh works harder than anyone out there, and he gets results for it. And I think that just having him, he wasn't champion then, but he was clearly, main eventing and going for it. And seeing him do what he does on Impact was really motivating for me to join. And seeing a lot of people like, I think what Jordynne Grace is doing on Impact really needs to be underlined, because she's absolutely fantastic. Trey Miguel as well, Ace Austin, Chris Sabin, so many Impact wrestlers that are absolute world-class talent and doing fantastic things with their career. And that really inspired me to join Impact.
And I'm glad you mentioned Josh Alexander, because look, there was no way I wasn't going to mention, like, we have to mention Josh first of all, because look, two Canadians, two iconic superstars on the scene at this moment. Is that a match you'd love to happen, again, perhaps for a championship down the road? Because look, Canadian fans want it, European fans drool at the potential of this happening on the Impact stage. So look, is this something that, will happen in the near future?
So, well, funny you should mention that, but it is happening this weekend in Vegas for Pro Wrestling Revolver. It is, of course, a non-title match, but I can't think of a better lead-up to Slammiversary than to have a match with Josh, because he and I have wrestled 3 times in the past, and every time we have, I've come out a better professional wrestler. And to be able to get ready for Slammiversary, which is going to be the biggest match of my life, by having a match with Josh Alexander, I know is going to put me in the zone and get me absolutely ready to do my best and show my best performance at Slammiversary.
I love it. Now, Mike, we have to speak of Slammiversary, right? It's on Fight TV, which is, it's massive here in Europe and in Ireland. But obviously, X Division Championship, one of the most prestigious belts in all of wrestling. It's iconic. So many greats have held that belt. Going into this match, you're on good momentum. Are you looking forward to this match? And are we going to see it come out as champ?
It's insane, and I cannot believe it. Within 6 months of my Impact debut, I'm challenging for not only for the X Division Championship, but in Ultimate X at Slammiversary for the 20th anniversary, which, of course, since the beginning of my career, I've been looking at since before the beginning of my career, since I started being interested in becoming a pro wrestler, I've been looking at the kind of action that the X Division puts on every time, and it's been an absolute goal of mine. So it's going to be an honor to fight for the X Division Championship at such a big event.
Definitely. Now, Ace Austin is a guy that we've had on, numerous times here. Trey Miguel, all guys you know quite well. There's 2 more spaces that are up for grabs, and that will be, announced in due course. But what's your take on Ace Austin? Obviously, look, he's a great wrestler, but look, he's going to bring the best out of you.
Yeah, I think that's correct. He is going to bring the best out of me. I think I've been bringing the best out of Ace as well. Ace is Ace. I've said that back before, but I think it's the best way to describe it. Ace is Ace. I'm glad he's tearing it up in Japan right now, eating delicious food and having great matches. I like Ace. I have tremendous respect for him. He does what he does, and I do what I do. But I still consider him a friend. He is, of course, one of the best wrestlers in the world right now, and he is the one to beat. So yeah, there's respect, there's admiration, and there's everything that comes with that, which is, we're both just doing whatever we can to get or keep the X Division Championship.
I love it. Now, Mike, we have to speak of our fellow Canadian, okay? Obviously, over 20 years ago, we lost a great Owen Hart. And it's the anniversary today, which is kind of, coincidental. But, do you have any memories of Owen growing up, as a young kid? Obviously, look, he's legendary in Canada. The Hart family are prestigious. But, would Owen be, would he be one of the reasons you took up wrestling, from day one?
So, honestly, no. I want to say that I think I started watching wrestling when Owen was not a very big part of it, and then not much after. And it wasn't until much later that I went back and watched his work in Japan, and where he really, in my opinion, put on his best stuff. But yeah, no, of course, there's tremendous respect, and he is a once in a lifetime talent. And I didn't know that today was the anniversary. That's very sad, but no, definitely one of the best ever.
No, I appreciate that. Now, speaking of Canadian wrestlers, look, Mike, every time we have you on, we're always praising the Canadian wrestlers. A lot of people always say they want to see you face. We talk about Forbidden Door, right? And we one day hope that completely opens up. And when I say completely, there's one organization that will never really kind of open it up. But look, Mike Bailey versus Kevin Owens, what I mean? Two prestigious guys in the world of wrestling. Is that a match that could maybe happen down the road? And would you be open to something like that?
Of course. I mean, he and I have wrestled many, many times at C4 Wrestling, which is one of the places in Canada that really opened up a lot of doors for me. He was a part of that. We wrestled each other, and we were C4 tag team champions together. And of course, he's someone that I always look up to with great respect, and everything he's doing in pro wrestling is absolutely fantastic. And yeah, that is certainly one of my dream matches. Currently, it's impossible to know whether that's ever going to be possible or not. But yeah, I think about it, of course. I stop myself every 6 months or so and just imagine what that match would be like in my head. and then move on to matches that are actually going to happen. But that's always a fun one to think about.
Definitely. And Mike, you mentioned tag team work. That's something that I was going to mention. Like, we know you've been a tag team in the past, and it's something, I mean, it's always good to be in a tag team. Is that something that could possibly happen in the future? Like, would you be interested in maybe rolling as a tag team, having the ideal partner and going after the tag team championships, or are you happy in your singles action?
I like singles matches. I like singles action. Right now, my goal is the X Division Championship, and it will be for a while. However, I'm a two-time DDT Pro Wrestling Tag Team Champion with Mao, who's tearing it up in DDT currently. Mao and I worked really well as a team. Same wavelength, same attitude and mentality when it comes to professional wrestling. And if I found anyone else with whom I am as compatible as Mao, I would love to challenge for the Impact Tag Team Championships. But as things are right now, I still have not found that person. So I'll still keep going after that X Division title.
No, we respect that. Now, listen, there's so much happening in the near future. But look, we had a fan question from a good guy called Jason. He's a big fan, watches all your matches. We've seen you in Cork. Yourself and Park had a great match in Neptune. And wow. I remember the moonsault off the top of the barrister, which was crazy. That was crazy.
Of course, I remember that one.
But he wants to know, what you have so many great matches. Can you pinpoint your best match in the last 12 months? And look, they've all been incredible matches. But if you can vision a match in your last 12 months, what's been your favorite match?
So that is honestly an incredibly difficult question. I do think that the three-way match between Ace, Trey, and I from Rebellion, that match was flawless in many ways, and I'm disappointed with the how many major media companies have covered it, because I think that match was really special. And I think it was all three of us are at points in our career. Like Trey is the best Trey that Trey Miguel has ever been. Ace is absolutely at his best and somehow getting even better in Japan right now. I am by far the best Mikle Bailey that I've ever been. And I think the three of us together really did something special. And it's probably taken the lead for my favorite. Also, in the last 5 months doesn't have to be a caveat, because I think that, continuous improvement is my biggest achievement in professional wrestling. So my best match is always going to be somewhat recent, but I really think that three-way Rebellion really takes the cake for now.
Definitely. Max is a big fan of the indie scene, Mike. And look, that's, he's absolutely ecstatic you've joined Impact. He always brings up a name, Will Ospreay, right? What's your thoughts on Will Ospreay?
One of the wrestling right now is the best it's ever been. And I don't know if that's a controversial take. I know it is when it's tweeted, but pro wrestling right now is easily the best it's ever been. And Will Ospreay is one of the best right now, if not the best. He and I have wrestled before 3 times, but the last one was in 2017, and we've grown tremendously. He made a nice tweet, in fact, about Impact Wrestling, Will Ospreay. So if there is interest on his part in coming to Impact, I'm sure I won't be the only one, but I would love to get to do it again there. And I think he's, tremendous, amazing, one of the best.
Definitely. Now, one more fan question. Katie's a big fan and she listens a lot to our podcast. She wants to see Mikle Bailey do the Forbidden Door, head over to All Elite Wrestling and face Hangman Page for the championship. Now, to her, that's a dream match. Would you keep an eye on All Elite Wrestling? Would that be something you'd kind of observe? Or look, I know you observe your own stuff as well, but would you keep a little eye on what's happening over there, given the fact that Forbidden Door is still kind of relevant and it's possible?
So yes, of course I do. I mean, if Kenny Omega versus Rich Swann, it can happen. And if Kenny Omega can walk through the Forbidden Door and come to Impact, then I have to look at everyone. And Hangman Page wrestled Konosuke Takeshita, who is in AEW right now, who I'm wrestling again very soon in San Francisco. But Takeshita and I We're tag team champions in DDT. We have wrestled each other a bunch of times, so I paid close attention to that match. Hangman Page is absolutely amazing. Truly deserves the place he's made for himself. And yeah, I have my eye out on everyone that is good right now, because you never know what happens in the world of professional wrestling. And I have to be ready for everything.
I love it. Mike, listen, it's an honor as always. We hope to see you back in Ireland and the UK soon. European tour, Impact. We hope that happens. But last of all, it's only just hit me. You said your wedding's tomorrow and you're getting married tomorrow, because I was in a bit of a daze at the start, right? But it kind of was like, I congratulations, okay, from all of us here in Ireland. And listen, enjoy Vegas, enjoy the fun, and it's going to be no doubt the best day of your life tomorrow. So thank you very much.